Guys, welcome to this session. My name is Bhaskar, and this session is about why you can't ignore mobile in today's world. And we'll give our attendees a few more minutes to join. They may be joining this session. So while they join, a few questions. Can you guys hear me clearly? Feel free to type your answers in the. Okay, great. Nice, great. And can you also see my screen? Great. So, Netra, do you have a question? I can see your hand raised. Hi, Anthony. Great to see you here in this introductory course for mobile marketing. So, have you? I believe all of you have done the program for digital marketing, and then this is, and then you're exploring what to do in mobile and so forth. Sure. So yeah, so before we get started, a few housekeeping questions and a few housekeeping tips. So I mean, if there is an internet outage or something, I'll join back in if the session breaks. So this session is designed in the format. It's about 60-minute session. We hope to have about 30 minutes of content where we are going to talk about mobile marketing. Then it's all question and answers. All your questions about mobile marketing, the state of the state of growth and everything, and also about the programs, I can address that. If you have any, feel free to type them, and feel free to type them, and I'll address them as the questions keep coming. However, bulk of the questions we'll try to take together at the end of the session. So, and the more questions you ask, the more interactive this 60 minutes will be, the more valuable it will be for you and for me. So great, I think we'll get started, and as people join in, we'll kind of take them in the session. Okay, so my name is Bhaskar, and I am the co-founder of, hold on. Sorry about that. Yeah. So my name is Bhaskar, and I am the co-founder of a startup called Scandid. Scandid is India's shopping comparison engine. So what we do is essentially help people find the right products across all the online stores, on and offline availability, and kind of get the best price for this product. As far as my role goes, I'm essentially a growth engineer. What that means is I take care of revenue, I take care of customer growth. I have done 3 mobile web startups before this. I am a mentor and advisor to a number of other startups, and I am a speaker at NASSCOM. I conduct sessions, growth sessions, and mobile sessions with Digital Vidya. And I'm most of all, I think even after having spent 16 years in marketing, digital marketing, there's something new to learn every day. So yeah, so that's a bit about me. And you guys all know Digital Vidya. Digital Vidya is a leader in digital marketing trainings, and they have started with digital marketing now. They have programs in growth, mobile marketing, and so many others. So the format of this session is that we will start by discussing why you can't ignore mobile today, especially if you are in India, and then we'll have an overview of the Certified Mobile Marketing Master course, and then we will get into the question answers. So that's about this session. So let us start with a quick question, and you can type in your answer for this one. How many people attending this session do not have a smartphone? Just say, I don't have a smartphone if you don't. Wow, so that's the state. So everyone does have a smartphone today. Now, so that's where India is headed, and now, and that's where the entire growth is coming from. So, do you see that question on your screen? I'm also going to put this question as a poll for you guys. So, what I want to know is, take a guess, what percentage of internet traffic in India is mobile internet? So I'll put that question as a poll. Go ahead, take your time and answer that one. What percentage of India's internet traffic is mobile internet? Go ahead. There are still few people left to vote, so please go ahead and vote. So this is how you guys kind of voted. I mean, 15% of you think that 15%, 17% think that 15% is mobile internet, and 33% think 65% is mobile internet. So here's the interesting data. So about 65% of all internet traffic in India is mobile internet. Now, Nigeria is the only country which has more internet traffic, percentage internet traffic. And if you look at it, the top countries, Nigeria, India, South Africa, Indonesia, Poland, Turkey, Iran, these are all developing countries. So for the developed countries like US, etc., mobile traffic is a very smaller percentage of total internet traffic. People access through multiple devices, through desktops and so many other devices. But in a country like India and other developing countries, people don't have desktops. So mobile is the first time they got introduced to internet, and mobile traffic is the largest chunk of traffic. So let me jump to the next question. What percentage of India's e-commerce sales do you think is mobile commerce? So which means, of the total sale that happens in India for online businesses, what percentage is mobile commerce? So let me put that poll to you. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Can you see the poll? Yep. I'll wait for about 10 seconds more. Go ahead, please vote. Okay, I'm closing the poll now, and here is the result. So, you think about, I mean, most people think 30% of India's e-commerce sale is mobile commerce. Let's look at some interesting data. So, in 2014, mobile commerce was more than 40% of total e-commerce. This is way back in 2014. We are not even counting the 2015 data. In 2015, it is expected it will be close to 50%, 45 to 50%. And here, if you see, India is much ahead even of China. And that is surprising because later in this presentation, you will see China has much more mobile penetration than India. Even given that, India's e-commerce, mobile m-commerce is about 42% of total e-commerce in India. Okay, so these are the facts that make India so different. These are the facts that make the Indian e-commerce ecosystem so different. So here's another question for you: what percentage of the orders? So they say GMV, which is gross merchandise value. What percentage of say Snapdeals and Flipkart order is from mobile? Let me put that poll for you. Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, I'll wait for another 5 seconds. Okay. So here we go now. So yeah. Okay, 43% people think that 70% of Flipkart's order is from mobile. Okay, great. So now I think you guys are even when you were guessing, you are now realizing the potential of mobile. So that's it. Yeah. So for Flipkart in Q1 of 2015, about 70% of their orders was from mobile. This is GMV, and for Snapdeal it was much higher. I mean, a little higher in the 72-73 range. Now, what that means is, if you look at all other countries where we are considering Alibaba, JD.com, eBay in the US. So all of these countries, all of these sites had much lower mobile contribution to their GMV. In India, it's very different. So this is why Indian ecosystem, Indian e-commerce ecosystem, and Indian internet ecosystem is very different from the rest of the world, and that is what makes mobile something you cannot ignore. So they call it the mobile tsunami. So India now shipped about 275 million phones in 2014, and smartphone penetration in India is about 30%. Take a guess, what is the smartphone penetration in China? Feel free to type the answer. My question is, in India, of all the phones, 30% of phones are smartphones. What is that number in China. For China, what do you think is that number? I'm waiting for answers. So, anyways, so enough of questions. So let me just share that number with you. So in China, that number is 95%. So 95% of all phones in China are smartphones. Only 5% feature phones people use. So that's a huge gap. And what India is projected is that by 2019, all 65% of all phones will be smartphones. So that penetration will increase from the current 30% to 65%. And that's the market everyone is going after. That's the market all the e-commerce players are going after. That's the market where new jobs will be created. That's the market where the next wave of internet or web marketing jobs will be created. So imagine just 30% today, and that is going to double in the next 4 years. And whereas the desktop traffic is just going down. So this presents a great opportunity for e-commerce players, for marketers, and everyone. But in the mobile commerce and mobile marketing space, there is a good news and the bad news. So let's start with the good news. Or let's start with what the situation is. So what people understand of mobile marketing is that you essentially build an app, publish the app on the Play Store or the App Store, iOS Store, and then you will start getting installs on day one, and people will start using your app and referring it to others, and you can make a lot of money. But this is where the fancy or your fantasy ends, because between what you want to do and what actually happens, there are about 1.5 million apps on these stores, each of these stores. So you do build your app, you do publish your app, but you are never seen, but you are never discovered. Because you are never discovered, you never get installs. Users never use you or refer you, and all your money goes down the drain. So how many people would relate with this image or this photo from India, and what does that mean? You could type the answer if you want to add anything here. So essentially, what I see over here is phones are everywhere in India. Desktop never reached Indian households, but phones have reached in every hand, and most people have multiple phones. And people are making innovative use of phones. So when the US and the other Western countries were going through the desktop revolution, India completely missed. Because first of all, we did not have internet. Number two, the cost of owning desktops was very high. Number three, there was electricity problem. Like when you had a desktop, you had to have electricity and so forth. So India completely missed the desktop revolution. This is where all the large companies, all the eBays, Google, etc., were kind of coming up in the US and Western countries. So they first came on desktops, and then they moved to phones. Now, way back in 2012, internet traffic for India increased was more than desktop traffic, and after that, it has just the gap has just increased. So that's what we are looking at. With India missed the desktop revolution, but we are going to see a tsunami of mobile adoption, mobile internet. I think I've already discussed this. Now, this phone that you have in your hand, or this phone that your users have in their hand, is the most personal device ever. On a desktop, you don't get much information about your users. On a desktop, a desktop is probably shared between 2 to 3 people at home. So you can set cookies, you can track your users, but you don't get all the rich information that you have on phones. For example, you have your user's profile on phone, so you can do very rich segmentation. I mean, it starts right from the kind of phone that user is using, the cost of the phone, that gives you an idea of the socioeconomic class. You have access to cameras and videos, so you know where what photos users access, where do they go. You have access to their calendar, you have access to their social network, their phone network, their phone book. You have access to everything. You also have access to their call history text. You know how often that person calls, how often that person texts, and so forth. But apart from this, you have the browsing history. There are ways to know what kind of apps the user is using, and so forth. Plus, you also have what user does through the day. So you can literally map the user through the day and 24 hours, 7 days a week. This phone is also the most connected channel ever. So what this graph does is compares the various medium that you can use as a marketer to reach out to your customers. So if you look at TV, for example, this is TV. The usage peaks at 8 a.m. and then 8 a.m. to 12 noon. This is when people are usually watching television, and then through the day, it's at the end. And again, after 6 p.m. to about midnight, there is a peak, and so forth for various medium. For example, print, which is newspaper, etc., is usually people usually start consuming print medium in the morning. So 6 to say about 10 in the morning is when people read newspapers and print. Now, if you look at internet, it's through, it starts. People are most active on desktop internet around, from 10 in the morning till 6 in the evening. This is the office hours. But if you look at mobile, people start using mobile around 8 in the morning. So the usage peaks at 8 and it remains at that peak till midnight. So this phone is also the most connected channel. You can always reach out to your users on phone. It's very difficult to reach out to the same users on other channels like desktop or newspaper and so forth. Plus, there is this new generation in India which was born with phones. So they access phones, internet only on phones. So about 41% of this new generation in India is accessing internet only on phones, and they do this because it's the most convenient way. They can carry their internet, their phone wherever they go. So that's the kind of good part about India. That's what is going to happen. That's the mobile tsunami everyone is talking about. But the good part ends there, and the challenges start. So average retention curve. So average retention of a user on a mobile app, is about in 90 days you just have about 10% of your users, or less than 10%, about 6 to 7% of your users using the app. So what that essentially means is, today if you acquire a user for your app, so today if you get an app download, in 90 days about 93% of all the people that have downloaded your app will uninstall or will stop using your app. And the drop is very sharp. So the day one retention in the mobile marketing and mobile ecosystem is number of people who retain your app or who do not uninstall your app on the day they install plus day one uninstall. It's staggering. It's something like 70% users uninstall on day one. So people install the app and then they uninstall. So imagine the cost. You will pay to get those 100 installs. Of those, you are only left with about 30 on day plus one, and you are only left with about 7 on day 30. On on day 90. On day 30, that number is about 15%. Now, this does not happen in mobile. So if people come to your website, you drop a cookie, you have a way to reach out to them for 30 days, 100% of them, unless they kind of delete the cookies and so forth. So even if they do, that number is close to 90 or 90% or so. Now, in mobile, you just have access to about 20 to 25% of your users on day one. Also, if you look at the entire cookie system in desktop economy versus mobile economy just gives you one-day cookie. So if you are so Flipkart would probably give you credit for traffic for only 1 day and so forth. So it's a very challenging ecosystem. It's a very the competition is huge on mobile vis-a-vis desktop. So now, when I mentioned that about you only are left with 7% of your users on day 90 and only with about 30% on day one. So that's a broad average. But if you look at say top apps like say WhatsApp and Facebook, their retention is close to 80% on day one, and they always retain 60% of their users. So the challenge is, and this is a huge gap. How do you retain 80%? And some apps retain 80%, others just retain 24, 25%. So how do you bridge this gap? So this entire program for mobile marketing is designed to help you, if you get into the mobile marketing ecosystem, to help you be better than this and as close to this retention numbers. So that's one of the major objectives of this program. And of course, you keep getting these news. Sometimes Flipkart says that it will go app only, and then they come with the news and say, no, we will have both app and mobile, because that's the state of the economy. And so yeah, so you keep getting this news, and so that's so the entire trend is towards mobile, and that's why these are the reasons you cannot ignore mobile in India. Now, so these are some of the reasons why you cannot ignore mobile in India. So what we will do is we will just let's have a Q&A session, and then we'll get into the details of the program, how that program works, and so forth. So let me pull up the chat window, the question window, so that we can start with questions. Okay, there are some questions already. So what I will do is I'll start taking those questions. Give me a minute. Let me just open the. Okay. Call and text access does not lead to privacy issues. So yeah, so it does lead, but if you take the right permissions, you can take access. We have to pay for app install. Yes. So I mean, on a Play Store, it is organic install is free, but if you just wait for free installs, either your app should be very good so that people start downloading it the day zero, or there are other ways to install get installs. There are techniques like ASO. ASO is App Store Optimization, which is similar to SEO. So what you do is you optimize your app for visibility on Play Store. So when people are searching for keywords related to your app is the first one to come up. Remember, there are 1.5 million apps on App Store. So how do you surface on those results? So that's one of the techniques. Then there is something called incentivized download, where you some money to download and use your app. Then you can run app install campaigns on channels like Facebook, Google, and so many others. So yeah, so accelerated app downloads is paid for. The free ones will, if you just go for the free option, it will take you a lot of time to get those downloads. As a publisher in App Studios. I hope that answered the question. How do you promote app and app store? What is app indexing? Okay, so so I think I answered some part of that question. So there are multiple ways to promote your app on App Store. First thing and the basic thing is ASO, which is similar to apps SEO. So when you go, when you're looking at any app on on your phone, you will see it has its description, it has title, it has images, and then it also has links coming in from other sources. So that's the organic way to promote apps. Then there are other techniques like you pay per install. So you can run like you run Google AdWords for getting traffic to your website, PPC for web. Similarly, you can run app install campaigns on multiple channels. Some of them are, let's say, Facebook, Google. Then there are other channels. Then the third format is incentivized app installs. So what you do is there are agencies and channels who kind of pay users some money to install your app. That's called incentivized. Then you can go. Then there are alternate play stores. Like all the phone manufacturers have their own app store. So you could look at those you could look at that channel, and then so many others. Like you must be seeing people also do outdoor advertising these days to download some kind of app and so forth. Is it necessary to have some kind of pre-knowledge of digital marketing before enrolling for mobile marketing? Yes and no. Some, if you have basic information, basic knowledge of digital marketing, how digital works, so that you understand what is something like what is a CPC campaign, what is pay per lead, that should be enough to enroll for this program, because this program takes care of getting you to speed. Is mobile marketing based on applications only? No, there are other formats also. There is SMS marketing. There are other ways to reach out. But I just mentioned app marketing in this presentation because that's the fastest growing, and that's where all the action is. The funding that has happened in Indian startups in the last 1 year, most of it has gone to startups that are app-based, and very little has gone to everything else. So yeah. How do we track the analytics of an app? So yes, that's a very interesting question because there are so many tools to track analytics of the app. So the app ecosystem has not evolved as much as the web ecosystem. So you could track it on Google Analytics. Google Analytics gives you a lot of data about your app. There's a different way to configure Google Analytics for app, and yeah, so that's where you could begin with. And then there are tools like Flurry, which give you much more detailed information. In app, you also have to take care of installs and attribution. So attribution is essentially attributing which channel gave you that app install, because based on that you will evaluate channel. So for app attribution, there are other tools like AppsFlyer, etc. And we cover all these tools in the mobile marketing program. How does app download benefit in listing in different app stores? Sandeep, could you detail that question? Like, what is the question? How does app downloads benefit in listing in different app stores? Is that question like what happens when your app gets downloaded? So this is what I've understood from the question. What happens is when your app starts getting downloaded from app stores. So say when people start downloading it, and what happens is that helps you get rank higher. So initially, say if you were ranking say 300 for a particular category like e-commerce, as your app download starts, your rank will start improving. You will start seeing your rank go up. So yeah, so that's how it helps. I hope I could answer that. You just mentioned about listing in Amazon store, etc. Okay, so no, what that part was now. So Google Play Store is the biggest Play Store. Now they have 1.5 million apps. To be visible on on that Play Store is difficult. Amazon, on the other hand, has about 1 million apps. And then there are, say, Samsung has its own app store. Then Micromax has its own app store. There, the total number of apps listed is much lesser. So if you try those, you will chances of you getting discovered is much higher. Then there are app stores like Opera. Opera browser has an app store, so you could also kind of get listed over there. I hope that answers the question, Sandeep. So any other questions at this stage? Otherwise, we will move to the next section, which is about the program. Great. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So now the entire purpose of this webinar was to kind of share some insights about how mobile is overtaking desktop in India, and also that mobile is a very different beast. The challenges are very different. Though the basics remain the same, but the way it is executed, the way you have to approach is very different. So this program, Certified Mobile Marketing Master Program by that Digital Vidya runs, is designed to make sure that you are successful in the mobile world, in the mobile marketing world. Now, what do you get from this program? What are the key takeaways? So, of course, the first thing is getting into this orientation, getting off web, and understanding the nuances of the mobile ecosystem, how it works, how you can benefit, what are the various channels. So that's what you learn. Then the next key takeaway is usability. So usability is UI and UX, how users interact with mobile, what do they do, and how should you build a business, or how should you build for mobile. And then the next thing is about building the mobile presence, where we kind of discuss how to take care of your, how to build your apps or how to build your presence. Do you build a native app or a hybrid app? What are the benefits? What are the design considerations, and so forth. Now, and then we get into mobile ads, how mobile ads work, and how are they different from the desktop ads, what are the options available, and so forth. So before I continue, what I'll quickly do is I'll share this question with you. So if you are interested in more information, let us know, so that we can then get back to you and with more data. Now, again, what we learn as part of this mobile marketing master program is app marketing. We go into the details of how to optimize your app, how to promote the app, some of which I discussed in this session, but I just touched upon those. There is a lot more that is there to learn. And then finally, how to measure the success of mobile campaigns. So we have a very interesting topic over here where we talk about how to acquire your first million users in 6 to 8 weeks. So, and what does it take to do that? So that's the structure of the program. And yeah, and so please go ahead and ask any questions that you have, and take just take a few seconds and answer, and let us know if you want us to contact you. If you want us to contact you for more details on the mobile marketing program, how it works, what we do there, and so forth. Okay, I can see a few more questions. Is digital marketing interconnected with mobile marketing? Yes. Then how do we do that? Yes, so digital marketing is connected with mobile marketing, but there is a slight difference. Like there are many differences. So, and these nuances, some of them I discussed today. So if you see so retarget, say if you're doing retargeting campaign for your desktop traffic, you have a cookie for 30 days, so you can follow that users for 30 days. In mobile, the window is much smaller. Again, there is an option to have a cross-channel targeting across mobile and desktop. So so that is there. Plus, in if you look at mobile, the channels to acquire users is very different. In desktop, the channels are much different. So in mobile, the users just give you about 1 day window to impress them. They install, they see the app, if they like it, they keep it, otherwise they just uninstall. And so that these challenges are not there for desktop, but these are unique to mobile. The course content here and the course content in the topic altogether are same. I did not get that question, Rajesh. The course content here and the course for the same. So here what I shared was the outline of the program. When you join the program, it is in much detail. When you join the program, we'll deep dive into each of these topics. I hope that answers your question. Otherwise, please feel free to retype and so that I can answer. So mobile marketing is not a subset of digital marketing. No, mobile marketing is a completely different beast. It borrows a few things. It borrows the basics from digital marketing, but it's a very, very specific skill. Okay. Any other questions? Questions about mobile marketing, questions about digital marketing. And of course, the Digital Vidya mobile marketing program has the best trainers available, people with extensive experience. I am also part of the mobile marketing program, one of the trainers, and the part I deal with is how to get your first million users in 6 to 8 weeks, and that is completely from my experience, because for my present startup, what we've done is, like in the last we launched last year, but then we were iterating, we were finding the right product market fit. But however, in the last 6 weeks, we've already acquired about 750,000 users, and that's growing. And our target is that in the by end of December, we should be crossing that million user mark. So then there is Himanshu and so many other people who have worked in with so many apps. I mean, individual mobile course versus mobile course covered under topics like SEO, SEM altogether. Yeah, so those are kind of different. This is in this program you can deep dive into we deep dive into the mobile aspects. Things in the digital marketing program, it's covered for all digital, and also that would include desktop, mobile web, and so forth. In here, we are just talking about mobile web in this program. I hope that answers your questions, Rajesh. So personally asking if you have to choose between digital and mobile marketing, considering future and current scenario. So if you have a little information, some understanding, Sheikh, about how digital marketing works, and if you are interested in mobile, I will say, so let me put it this way. So if it is about getting a job today, you'll find more job postings about digital marketing, fewer about mobile marketing. Why? Because it's a very specialized job and people are just learning. Over the next few years, things will change and mobile marketing jobs will be more than digital marketing. So that's how I look at it. So that's where I see market headed. I hope that answers your question, Sheikh. Great. So I think I mean that's what I had to share today. And if the poll is still on, so if you have not, just take a few seconds and let us know if you're interested, and we'll get back with more details. Thank you. That's all I had today. Let me know. So I'll sign out now, and